I remember hearing stories about my brother when he was growing up. He was literally skinny fat. And he looked like a Pakistani worker. You know, like those dads in Pakistan, these like street corners selling you candy. He looked like one of those motherfuckers when he was growing up. And just imagine that he was a kid, bro. And it wasn't the exercise nor the lifestyle, but it was actually the diet. The diet was literally holding him back to become more healthier and like have a nicer body. And the sad part is he used to tell me like stories before I was like born. Our family like didn't know shit about nutrition, so they would literally feed him whatever they like made. And you know, I live in a place called North Macedonia, and basically the food they make here is always, almost always, with seed oils and this like processed shit. And they gave it all to him, and of course he's gonna be skinny fat, bro. The diet he was getting was so processed, it was so bad, had literally almost 30 grams of protein per day, and it was all carbs and sugars and stuff like that. And my parents didn't have the proper food to like feed him before, and that's why he has like gyno bitch titties now, because of his past, that he's been eating so much bad food because of his diet was shit. The place where I live, there's a 95% chance, if you go outside, the second you go outside, there's a 95% chance you're gonna see an unhealthy person, a fat person actually, who is so unhealthy that he doesn't have the desire to live anymore. And he's like skinny fat as well. And it's all because of these fucking seed oils that they put every single day to their foods. They have been literally brainwashed to think that it's healthy for them. They don't know shit about nutrition, especially in countries like this. Countries like in the Balkan and Asia especially, the foods they take like this, like cauliflower, corn, green peas and whatever not. I'm not saying they're not healthy foods, but they have zero meat and zero eggs in their diet, zero honey, zero milk. These foods that are up there so good for you, that have so much nutritional value, nobody is taking them. And that's why almost everybody in India is fucking skinny fat, just because of the food they fucking consume. Have you seen like those videos where a guy goes in like some street in India? Do you see what they fucking give to the people? They're fucking eating like slaves, bro. And you're telling me, oh, it's all genetics. It's not fucking genetics, bro. It's all in the fucking diet they're eating. So let me tell you an interesting story. Back when white people, like 200, 300 years ago, were colonizing like Africa, they had slaves, right? And the white people were like tired. They like got resources from Europe, and the food they were actually getting was like meat, eggs, honey, milk, even bread. They had like European foods that were full of nutrients, that had so much fucking nutrients. Do you really think they gave the same European food, the meat, the eggs, to Africans, to like the slaves they were having? Of course not. They wanted the slaves to have energy to work, but to like be tired as well, and to not like protest or whatever not, and to not like waste resources as well, because they wouldn't waste their meat to slaves. They would actually eat meat themselves. Why would they waste meat on slaves? They gave them instead to eat oatmeal, green peas, corn, flour. Those kinds of foods they gave to slaves, just to not waste resources, and for the slaves to have energy as well to work for them. Now don't get me wrong, these foods, when you look at the nutritional value of like green peas for example, they're not that all that unhealthy. Like for example, if you go to a McDonald's or whatnot, they're not that unhealthy. But when it comes down to hormonal health and how you should be treated and how much testosterone you should have as a male, they are literally the lowest of the lowest food. The best food as a male to like not be skinny fat and to get more muscle and to actually fix your hormonal issues and to have more testosterone, have more growth hormone, you need to eat more meat, more eggs, more honey, more milk, because these foods will generally stop you from being skinny fat, just because you're gonna fix your hormones, bro. Because these foods are gonna help you optimize your hormones, bro. Because even if you don't work out, if your hormones are optimized, you're not gonna be fucking skinny fat, bro. You're not gonna be a fat ass bitch. You're not gonna be a Pakistani worker if you have high testosterone. You don't need to exercise to actually look healthy, bro. Another thing I've like studied is like places where they eat foods like this soy, like what is it called? Tofu and stuff like corn and stuff like these. The people that are consuming these are typically mostly in Asia, and their bone structure is so like fucking different than like people in France, people in Germany. Their bone structure is so much different just because they've been eating the same fucking foods for centuries, while the Europeans have been eating meat, eggs. They have a bigger like skull. I think you've seen this picture comparison between the hunter skull and like the skull that's not that like developed. Mostly Asians have this type of skull just because for centuries and they as well have been eating so much estrogens, this like foods of not eating meat and stuff like that, even Indians as well. But once you see like the people in Europe, what they fucking like, they've eaten meat for fucking centuries. Their skull shapes are so much different than the ones in people like in Vietnam, for example. And it's all because of hormones, bro. It's all because of testosterone. It's all because of growth hormone. Your bones grow just because of the diet you fucking eat. If you don't eat meat, if you don't eat protein, you're not gonna grow in your skulls. You're still gonna be fucking skinny fat as well. You're not gonna be aesthetic if you eat these fucking soy tofu foods that with full of fucking seed oils. Of course, you're not gonna be looked as good. Of course, bro. You know what most people, like healthy people, call them? Slave foods, bro. I call these fucking foods like tofu and stuff like that, shit, or even fucking McDonald's, processed shit like that, slave foods to keep you energized enough, but the government doesn't waste any resources. That is slave foods. It's keeping you skinny fat. It's keeping you having gyno. It's literally keeping you having an underdeveloped skull shape at such a young age, bro. For example, I see so many 18-year-olds that are still not developed, bro. How you're at your peak? You're at your peak of testosterone. You're at the peak of your life. And you want to tell me you're still fucking not developed? And it's all because of hormones, bro. If you optimize your hormones, if you eat in a primal diet of meat, of eggs, of honey, of milk, you will actually start to look like a hunter more. Your skull will like change, bro. Your body will change. You won't be that skinny fat little bitch anymore. You'll also grow taller, bro. Another thing that isn't talked about enough. Your nutrition is basically 20% of your height. Now what can you do if you're skinny fat? Now what I recommend, the best thing you can do is hopping onto this primal diet of eating eggs, eating meat as much as you can. Like the primal shit people were eating, not these fucking processed fucking foods of McDonald's or fucking candies or sugar at all. Or even the slave foods we like talked about, like corn and stuff like that, tofu and soy. These foods are not particularly unhealthy, I'm not saying that. But the nutritional value of meat, of milk, of honey is so much fucking higher than if you just ate tofu. And you know this, but you're coping right now just because it's a tradition in your country to fucking eat tofu. Like shut the fuck up and turn your brain off right now, bro. Listen to me when I say this. You will have a better physique, you will feel better, and your skull will change and you will be more attractive if you hop on this primal diet. Especially if you're in puberty, bro. Especially if you're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 watching this. Trust me when I say this. It will change your life if you hop on this primal diet. Now, you're probably asking the same shit. What if I don't have money to buy this? What if I'm in a third world country and the only food I have is like these green peas and corn and stuff like that? Let me just ask you this one question. What is your healthiest option? If you don't have any money, if you're like living in Syria or countries like that, if in these third world like countries, trust me when I say this, if you pick out your healthier option, you'll still be better off going like that than what you were eating like 20 days ago. So for example, if you're eating processed shit, McDonald's that's so fucking cheap as well, like, or so fucking tuna chunks put in fucking soy. If you're eating that shit, what's a healthier option to that? What's a healthier option but cheap as well? For example, instead of eating soy, why don't you eat something healthier than that has more nutrient values, that doesn't fuck up your hormones as much? For example, I would rather eat oatmeal, I would rather eat corn, I would rather eat green peas for the rest of my life than eat fucking junk food like McDonald's, fucking so much crumble cookies or shit like that. I would choose this diet of green peas, corn, and whatever, not oatmeals as well, than this diet. So choose your healthier option, but just know, just so you know, the best option, the best diet you can have is the primal one, which is full of meat and eggs. If you can, find some options, like substitute some foods. For example, right now you're eating some shitty like ultra processed food that your mom makes. Substitute that for another food. You do not need money to be healthy, bro. So many people cope with this. Oh, but I don't have money to bulk. I don't have money for this. I don't have... Do you think I had the money to like eat so much food, bro? Even though I'm broke, even though my parents don't buy me that like much food for me to have like 3,000 calories per day, I still manage. It's all in your head. Trust me when I say this. Even if you're living in fucking Pakistan right now and you're watching this video, you can find a way. Just ask yourself this question: would I rather have this soy, or would I rather have these green peas? Green peas are more healthier, I'm gonna eat that. Basically, that's what I will do if I had zero money, if my parents made so much like unhealthy food and stuff like that. By the way, I also sell the Young Man's Aesthetic course. There's everything you need there to build your aesthetic body, even how to take a perfect picture so you can attract more females, and how to stop being skinny fat and transform your life, bro. Go from a skinny fat bitch to having an aesthetic body. Just by watching 70 videos, I put all in the course, and there's gonna be more every month. I put on 10 videos more. Now I want you to imagine the life you will live after not being skinny fat anymore. After you fix your diet, you go on this primal diet, your skull shape changes, you're more attractive, you have more energy to work, your body changes as well. You don't have any gyno anymore, it's gone just because of the primal diet that you were on. You won't be skinny fat anymore, and you will finally be able to attract that girl in your class that you always wanted. Your hairline won't fade away, you'll feel 10 times better, you're gonna have this V taper, bro. It's gonna be amazing for you. Just fix your diet. As you can see, this is not a normal channel. No, this is almost like a movement of young men, young teenagers that are on self-improvement, that are sick of literally eating foods that deteriorate their hormones and health. We also have a Discord community where you can join and be a part of, like this community of young men, young teenagers improving each and every day. This was Victor, and never quit even if all hope is lost. Mwah!